Okay guys, I'm going to try to put a video on here again. Hopefully it will upload this time. So I skipped over the lesson 18 problem set because that's one that we're going to kind of look at together at some point, but I wanted to show you the lesson 18 homework one because it has the same concepts. It's page 79. Okay, now these two are circled because these two I want you to try on your own because they're really, really similar to what we were doing in class on Wednesday on your dry erase boards. So what you need to do is, on the number lines beside them, they both are at least easy number lines. They're just like one number. They go from 0 to 1 and that's all. Okay? So it's not like you have to divide it up multiple times. So go ahead and look at the denominator. That tells you what to divide the line into. Plot those points. Divide this line up, number 2. And then plot 4/6 and 1/6. Okay, go ahead and do that. Pause your video and do that real quick. Okay, so you should have just unpaused your video if you followed directions. Okay, so it should look something like this. So 1/3 and 2/3 has to go on this line, which means I need to divide this line into thirds. That's my denominator. Okay, so it should look like this because I have 1, 2, 3 sections, so it's in thirds. And then 1/3, 2/3 needs to go on there. Well, 0 means I'm at 0 thirds. 1/3 would be here. And if I kept counting, 2/3 would be here. And then this would be 3/3. And then the circle in the middle, you need to compare them. Well, just think about it. If you had two things that were split into thirds, on one of them I'm going to shade in 1/3. On the other one I'm going to shade in 2/3. Which one is bigger? Which one would you have more? Well, obviously they're both thirds. You would have more if you had 2 of the thirds instead of just one of them. Okay, so 2/3 is bigger, so eat the bigger one. Okay, number 2 should look like this. The denominator is a 6, so your line should be in 6 pieces. So you need to draw 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6. Well, 4/6, 1/6. All right, 4/6. This would be 0/6. 1/6. Oh, I need that one. 1/6 would be here. 2, 3, 4/6 would be here. I forgot to label my 1/6 over here. Like this. And then if you look at your line, same thing. Okay, we talked about this. If you are at 0 and you only went this far, that's your first choice. Or if you're at 0 and you go this far, you went further if you went here. Or, in other words, 4/6 is further from 0 than this one is. You had to go further away from 0. So that makes this one bigger. 4/6 is bigger. Or you can kind of think of it like this one. If you have two things that are both split into 6ths, and then you ate one of the 6ths, and then maybe you had something else and you split into 6, and you ate 4 of them, where did you eat more? You ate more if you had 4 of the 6. Okay. This is where it gets strange because the denominator is different. We did this a little bit the other day where you had to divide the line into 2 separate things, and that's what this is doing, okay? I almost wish they would just have you do it on 2 different lines, but that's not the way they're having us do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my fourths. So I know if I need to find 1/4 that I need to divide my line into fourths. Okay, it just still only goes from 0 to 1. So I'm going to divide that into fourths, so 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So I have 1, 2, 3 fourths on there. And then I'm going to find 1/4. Here's 0/4, here's 1/4 right here. 1/4. Okay, now I need to compare that to 1/8. You might even, without even using this line, you might already know which one is bigger because we've talked about it. 1/4 means you get one piece of something that's split into 4 pieces. 1/8 means you get one piece out of something that's split into 8 things. 1/4, 1/8 here. Okay, 1/4 means I get 1 out of 4. I shared it with 4 people. 1/8 means I shared with 8 people. Well, this one's divided up less. That makes this one bigger. Okay, however, that doesn't change the fact that I need to figure out how to put 1/8 on my line. Just try to imagine that all of this disappeared. You're like a magician. Voila, the 4th disappeared. Now take your line and divide it into 8ths. Don't worry about that there's already lines there. Pretend like they're not there. Divide this into 8ths. So you need to draw 7 lines, like equally spaced. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now it's in 8ths. I'm going to make my 4ths lines longer so you can see the difference. So my long ones are my 4ths, and my little ones are my 8ths. My littler lines. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8ths. So now I have 8ths. And 1/8, 0, 1/8 would be right here. So then you can tell by looking at the line also that 1/8 has to be smaller because 1/8 is really, really close to 0. 1/8 is pretty small. Okay. Now for number 4, you have 4/5 and you have 4/10. That means you need to divide your line into 5ths and then find 4/5, and then divide your line into 10ths and shade in, or not shade in, and then find 4/10. So what I want you to do is I want you to try 4 and try 5. I want you to use 2 different colors. I want you to choose one color, so like get 2 crayons or whatever. Try not to use markers because they bleed through. Colored pencils are fine. Divide up your line into 5ths with one of your colors. So like say this one, you want to do your 5ths with red or something. And then the other one, you need to divide. You're also then, when you're done with this, you need to divide your line into 10ths. And then, but make the 10ths a different color. So like say, I don't know, yellow or something. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Just so that you can tell the difference between your 5ths and your 10ths. When I showed it to you in class on the smartboard a few days ago, that's what I did. Make your 5ths one color, okay? So like 4 lines. Then make your 10ths a different color. So that means you'll draw 9 lines. Then find 4/5. Then find 4/10. And then look and see which one is closer to 0. Okay? So I kind of walked you through the steps. When you get to this one, I'm going to walk you through the steps, but I'm not going to do it for you. 8/6, 5/3. That means first, you need to use one color, like maybe here, I'll just call it color number 1. Color 1 needs to have 6ths, has to show 6ths, because you need to find 8/6 somehow. Okay, 5/3. That means whatever your other color is, so color 2, you need to have thirds with it. Okay. So do that first. Make 6 with color 1. Then use your other color, make thirds. Then find 8/6, plot it. Then find 5/3, plot it. And then figure out which one is further from, well, from this time what's further from 1. So then which one would be bigger. Okay? Keep in mind, if you're at 1, when you start your 6, how many 6 are equal to 1? how many thirds are equal to 1. So I'll get you started with that part. Okay, and then try those with colors, okay? And then when you're finished, tear that out and turn it in for me. Hold on, let me see what's over here. I take that back. When you're done, don't tear it out and turn it in because I want you to still have this paper, okay? So when you are finished, leave it in your book, okay? Alrighty, good luck.